from one place to another? How do you free your spirit, and what's the incentive to move? Unfortunately, most people in the West who are non-Muslims don't know the difference between, those guys that just, in London they chop the soldier's head off, and us. They think that we're this, when actually we're not the same at all. I mean, we're completely different. I mean, it's like night and day. But we both call ourselves Muslims. But what I recommend and what I always say, if you're confused about something, and I tell this to everybody, go educate yourself. Go look at things. Don't just sit there and stew in your own confusion. There's a lot of resources out there, and especially now because we live in the information age, most of the people, not all of them, but most of the people who are ignorant by choice. Because if you wanted to go and look at their website, the Salafi is the one who did this, and then look at Ahlul Bayt TV, you wouldn't see very much similarity. You'd see a lot of things that were different. And especially if you read, if anybody wants to read about the lives of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, you would see that everything that they did was characterized by mercy, by gentleness, by kindness, by compassion for people. And violence was only used in a very special situation as a last resort. And all of this information is out there. It's not hidden from anybody. So what we have to do is, I think as a community, we have the responsibility to say, if you want to know what Islam is, go here, look at this. Look at the life of Imam Ali. If you want to know what Islam is, look at the life of Imam Ali, or look at the life of the Prophet. That's it. That's all you have to do. Because they're the model that we all strive for. So that's what I say. So in a nutshell, when anybody asks me what is Islam, I say go study the life of the Prophet. Go study the life of Imam Ali. Go study the life of Imam Hussein. Go study the life of Imam Ali. Go study the life of Imam Reda. By the way, you guys, I told you before, you had a really nice show about Imam Reda, The Stranger of Tus. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. Sure, yeah. I would just send that to people and say, go look at this. Go look at this program. That'll tell you this is Islam. That's what it is. Go look at that show. I mean, it's all, it's available. So, I think that's a way. People have to say at some point, I want to educate myself. The one that I remember like most vividly is when Imam Ali alayhi salam, when he was in Najaf, and I don't know if you guys know the story about the woman. He saw this woman walking in the street and carrying water, on her shoulders, and she seemed like very distressed. So he was the Caliph at the time. He controlled an empire like greater than, maybe 30 or 40 countries of today. But he saw this woman in distress, and he said, let me help you. Let me help you. She said, okay, help me carry the water. She was talking to him like he was just a servant, anybody walking on the street. There was no TV at the time, so a lot of people didn't know what the Caliph looked like. So he helped her carry it to her house. And then, he said, is there anything, that I can do for you? And she said, you have to talk to this guy, Ali, She didn't know she was. She said, he put me in this situation. She said, she was complaining to him. She said, my husband, went out and fought and he died. And he said, now I don't have anything. She said, now I'm alone with my children. I can't make a living. My life is so hard like this. And, he said, he sat there talking to her. And then he left, for the night. And then he came back in the next morning. And she said, who is it? And he said, I'm this, slave. I'm this slave standing outside your door. And so he went in and he made breakfast for her and all this stuff. And then somebody else, one of her friends came in the door. And her friend told her, do you know who this is? She didn't know. He said, do you know, this is the Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he said, it's okay, and he said, he kept staying there and helping her, and he said that he actually started crying, And I said, somebody who is Amir al-Mu'mineen, someone who is the leader of the country, who's this brave warrior who's conquered, been in all these battles and won and all these things. And I said, and still after all of this and the fame, having a heart that's so soft like this, I said, this doesn't happen by anything else except the truth. There's nothing that can do this to somebody except, if you want to compare this to any other leader today, there's no comparison. There's no leader that would see a woman walking on the street and help her carry water and go into her house and say, this is your slave knocking on the door. And not even tell her that, by the way, I'm the leader of, all these countries. And so, I think this behavior, it really kind of encapsulated the whole thing for me, And there's many stories also about the Prophet and about the other Imams. Since this is, the birthday of Imam Ali Islam, I'd like to talk about, Imam Ali. And there's many stories like that. So it just shows you the people not only believe it and they understand it, but they also live it.